What's going on, everybody? Shout out to those who are in the chat so far. We will be getting started shortly. Make sure when y'all come in, y'all hit that like button, share the stream on your various social media platforms. Let the people know that we are indeed officially live for this edition of the live stream show on the Rain in Real Time channel. Let's see, who do we have in here so far? Marcella, uh, Darlene, Jamal, Dee Dee. What's going on? What's going on? I hope everybody's having a good day, a good Friday. J.R. Jackson, salute to you. And shout out to everybody who was here so far in the chat. We have a lot of different topics to go over today. It's a lot of different stories that I want to discuss. But I'm just going to wait for a few more people to get in. I hope everybody had a good week. I had a pretty decent week. Let's see. Marie, Hollywood 2000. Salute to everybody so far that is here so far in the chat. But shout out to you, Marcella, for being on time. Let's see what's going on. Joseph, Angie, glad you are all here. This is a very news eventful week. A lot of different news, big or small, came out this week. So much stuff came out this week. It was almost hard for me to keep up. I hope also that y'all are paying attention to the banner that's scrolling at the bottom, because I think for certain now I know that YouTube has shadow banned my main channel again, as they do like 4 times a year. I probably said something that offset the algorithm, but if you have not done so, please text that number, that 301-747-0390 number, so you can be added to the notification list, so you can be notified every single time that I upload a new video. Because when I upload a video, I send out the videos on my Twitter account and to that community app. Well, let's see who else is known. King, Pinky, JYB, Vulcan, Tina. I hope everybody is doing great. We're going to talk about that, Joseph. If it doesn't seem like I'm being talkative right now, it's because I'm literally in the middle of eating. Like I don't want to be chewing in the mic, and y'all be like, why is he chewing in the mic? What's that noise? So if it feels like I'm not saying anything, that's the reason why. No, said it may not have been you that got your channel. Well, it's not banned, but it's just shadow ban. It says it may have been one of us fellas that called in. I'll try to clean up the language next time. Well, I appreciate that because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't. That wasn't even something that came to my mind until you said that. Because I know sometimes I have to watch what it is that I say because I know I could shoot off at the mouth. That's why I came up with my own little code term, so I wouldn't have to say what I really want to say completely and utterly in a blunt manner. But I'm glad that you did acknowledge that because now looking back at it, because that was last Friday when we did that stream, and then the issue with the algorithm started to happen like the following week. I appreciate that, Marcella. Donna, how are you doing? Got about 3 more minutes and we're going to go ahead and get started. Letitia, how are you doing? I would say that it's been a good week for the simple fact that the Coonstress has been getting her ass beat in so many ways. I already did one video about her, so you know that always makes my week feel great. And there's more to come, for sure. Oh, no problem, no king. I'm like I said, I'm just glad that you acknowledged what could have possibly be the issue. But it's not something that's gonna last forever because like I said, I've been through this so many times before. It's just that it's a matter of when. And as the content creator, you'll know when the shadow ban is gone because everything flows the way that it should be going forward. Jennifer said, "Hey y'all, let me fix something to eat till I'm hungry." Like, yeah, I was hungry. That's why I was going in and out and muting the mic because I didn't want y'all to hear me chewing in the background. This is not an ASMR video. Got about 1 more minute, and we're going to go ahead and get started with this week's stream, which is like one that I was really looking forward to doing, especially the last three stories. Well, the last three are two of them aren't really a story, but one of them is. But they're funny. Like the last three are very lighthearted, but they're funny at the same time, especially the last two. Exactly, like Marcella said, we got 34 people in the chat and only 8 likes. All right, it is 4:10. It is 4:10, so you know what that means. The show is officially about to begin, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. And the first story is obvious, and it's no way that I could not do this stream today and not talk about what's going on with Hurricane Ida and the effects that it left, or the lingering effects that it left for the people down in Louisiana. But most importantly, and more shockingly than ever, is the effects that it left for the people who live on the upper northeast coast. I don't know if y'all have a Facebook account. They have it where people can leave like a little tab or a little sticker saying that they're okay or if they're safe whenever there's a bad storm that comes through there. And I didn't realize how many people that I knew who lived in those areas that was affected by that. I think most of them probably was the upper northeast coast rather than people living in Louisiana. But Lisa, she's doing fine because she lives in Jersey, so she was in an area that was affected by it. Um, where I'm at in the DMV area, we are extremely lucky because we were supposed to get hit by it, but it bypassed us. All we got was some rain. Now, what I will say is, in Maryland, in the state that I live in another part of Maryland, it got hit by like 3 tornadoes. But it doesn't shock me that those places got hit by tornadoes because those places usually, whenever a tornado does hit, it usually always affects those areas. But this hurricane came in strong. It came in as a strong category 4 before it hit Louisiana. And it's crazy because it literally hit the same exact day that Hurricane Katrina did back in 2005. So it came in with 150-mile-an-hour winds at a category 4. So it came in ready to wreck shop. And what you're seeing right now are just some pictures from when it happened, from when it occurred. But I think the biggest shock to everybody was what it did when it left that area and ended up hitting like the tri-state area, like New Jersey and Philly and New York and stuff like that. And it was crazy of all those floods that I saw. It was a lot of floods. I saw one video of someone who lives in Philly, and they posted up a video. The flooding was so bad that you could barely see the top of the uh the highway signs. Like the overpass signs, like those big green signs that are on an overpass sometimes, you could barely see the top of it. The water was sitting up that high. I even saw a video of someone whose basement was completely flooded, and then all of a sudden the water pressure was so hard against the outside of the home that it pushed and barricaded a whole bunch of water through the wall and completely washed away that entire basement. Like that was crazy of all the rain that these places got. People was literally on canoes and kayaks. Like that's the only way they was going to be able to get around. You saw cars floating, a whole bunch of debris, all types of stuff. I think I even heard a story where one person's basement got flooded so bad. And I think this happened in Louisiana, and it would have to because that's the only way the story for me would make sense. Where their basement flooded, and I think it was some woman and her dad or something like that. And I could be getting the story a little bit misconstrued, but I know I have the bulk of it correct. He went back into the home to get something. Mind you, it was a bunch of water. And then all of a sudden, an alligator bit this man's arm, like bit his arm smooth off. And then I think the daughter went to go get help. And by the time she got back, there was nothing there of her dad. So that gator or whatever was down there ate her dad alive. That's one of my biggest fears when it comes to a lot of flooding like that, is what kind of creatures are coming in from the ocean and into your house. I would have been like, look, whatever that was down there, it would have just had to stay down there. It's no use of trying to get or salvage anything at this point. Let the insurance cover it. If you have insurance, and get out with my life. Marcelo, what you're talking about, what you're talking about could probably be the same story I'm talking about because the stories sound very similar. But like I said, where I'm at, I'm very lucky because the path of the storm was supposed to more so come and hit where we were at heavy, but it just ran smack into like the New York, New Jersey, Philly area. We just got rain. Like we just got a bunch of rain. I don't even think we got enough rain to cause a flood, but we did get rain. We didn't get like any like heavy winds or anything like that. But yeah, a lot of people, it was a lot of casualties because of this storm. Of course, a lot of destruction of property. So it's going to take a lot to, rebuild all of that. And I've had my shares with hurricanes. I think the worst hurricane that I've dealt with, growing up was back in 2004, Hurricane Isabel. I was 15 when that hurricane hit. And me and my family, we were without power for an entire week. Like that thing knocked our power out for a whole week. No lights, no TV, no running water. So we literally had to like have a bunch of water stocked up somewhere. And luckily we had a gas stove and not an electric one. So we had to do old school and boil the water on that stove and bathe that way. But yeah, I hope that everybody who was affected by this, who is still alive, can manage to pull themselves out of this because that's crazy. This was a bad storm right here, a very bad storm. But let me move on to the next story, and that is let me get this off my screen. What the hell? Hold on, y'all. I hate when it does this. Hold on, let me stop sharing the screen right quick and get this taken care of. I hate when you pull up articles and they want to say, "Oh, you need a subscription to watch this and look at this and read this." So let me go back to sharing my screen. All right. So I wanted to talk about the recent indictment of those involved with the murder, because as far as I'm concerned, it is a murder of Elijah McClain. Now, we all know the story about Elijah McClain. He was the young man who was walking home and he got basically, in my opinion, attacked, blindsided by these thugs, not only the ones in blue, but the ones who were driving the damn ambulance as well. Basically held him down, and then he got injected with something. They had injected him with some kind of solution, and that is what ultimately killed him. Now, there, as far as I'm concerned, I don't even think that at one point that the people involved had any type of charges put against them, but now there are some charges attached. Excuse me. Let's see what they're talking about. And this is posted today. The indictments of 3 suburban Denver officers and 2 paramedics on manslaughter and other charges in the death of Elijah McClain could be a pivotal step toward meaningful police accountability. I doubt it, law enforcement reform advocates say. Our hope has been renewed, says Candace Bailey, an activist in the city of Aurora, who has been a liaison between the community and police and has led demonstrations over the death of McClain, a 23-year-old black man who was put into a chokehold and injected with a powerful sedative. Now look at that. They put him in a chokehold. Mind you, in that chokehold, it probably would have knocked him out anyway. But to make sure they had to speed up the process, they had to inject him with a sedative. And like, let's say, Smokey Yankee said they injected him with ketamine, which is basically a horse tranquilizer. They injected him with something that is supposed to be meant to calm down or even put down a horse. They put something that should go into an animal into a human body. But speaking of horses, you got these fools running around out here taking dewormers and shit, which is another thing that's meant for a horse. Joe Rogan, we're looking at you. I don't think I'm gonna do a video about Joe Rogan, but that guy's an idiot. And anyone who engages in that is dumb as well. The charges come as Colorado's elected leaders have taken strides to toughen repercussions for officers accused of wrongdoing in the wake of nationwide racial injustice protests last year that reawakened outrage over McClain's death. State lawmakers passed a sweeping police accountability law, which bans the use of chokeholds like the one used on McClain and requires officers to intervene to stop excessive force from being used. Now, look at how long it took for them to actually put something like that on the books. It took the death of this man for them to make that move. It took the death of someone for them to make a move. Not already not have it there, but we had to wait for someone to die from it or be a cause or a catalyst of it for us to move and turn it into a law. And how much you want to bet they're going to go against it? The law has helped to lead to charges against some officers. Look at that, some. And allowed the state attorney general's office to open a civil rights investigation into the Aurora Police Department. Democratic Governor Jared Polis ordered the attorney general last year to open a new criminal investigation into McClain's death after a prosecutor opted against charges in 2019. An outside review of Aurora police policies also was quickly launched by the city and police chief Vanessa Wilson, who has vowed to regain the public's trust since taking over the department last year. When you do something like this to someone like that, the trust is gone. The trust been gone. And let's not also forget that Elijah McClain was special needs. He had a disability. An actual disability, PC, for those of you out there that loves to throw around that mental illness card. Then when you ask them what mental illness do they have, he actually had a disability that was diagnosed by his physician. Police stopped McClain as he walked home from the store on August 24, 2019, after a 911 caller reported a man wearing a ski mask and waving his hands who seemed sketchy. And I bet you it was a PC person who did it because they love to call the cops on black people when they see something that looks suspicious to them. Officers put McClain in a chokehold and pinned him down. Paramedics injected him with 500 milligrams of ketamine, an amount appropriate for someone 77 pounds heavier than McClain's 143-pound frame. According to the indictment, he was later taken off life support. A grand jury indicted 3 Aurora officers and 2 paramedics on charges of manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide. State Attorney General Phil Weiser announced Wednesday what they need to do is get the person who made the call. Some face additional charges. They all turned themselves in and released on bond. Mark Sears, president of Aurora's branch of the Fraternal Order of Police, which says it's the largest union representing police in the city, told the Sentinel Colorado newspaper that our officers are innocent until proven guilty, and we stand by our brothers. Well, Mark Sears, you can fall into the 300 pit. Better yet, get kicked down the 300 pit. Better yet. Bailey says she cried when she heard about the charges and believes they will likely change the gravitation of what happens in our community and other communities of this nation. Deborah Richardson, executive director for Civil Liberties Union of Colorado, said the indictments are a step in the right direction, but they don't mean the work is over. That's why I said don't get too excited about this. These are just charges. We don't know what's going to come of this. They're just charges. Charges can get dropped all the time. And shout out to everyone who's coming into the chat if I did not acknowledge you already. It opens the doorway, but in terms of if this is going to be a part of the momentum of change, that's really up to us, Richardson said. We don't select the police chiefs, we don't determine who wears the uniform, but we do elect the public officials that are responsible for that, and we need to hold them accountable. Richardson also attributed to the nationwide shift of egregious behavior by law enforcement to social media and video that keep the cases alive and accessible. Richardson compared it to her experiences growing up in Atlanta during the civil rights movement. She said national television broadcasts of police beating civil rights protesters marching from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama, changed public opinion. Democratic State Representative Leslie Harrod praised the indictments as a result of community pressure and the community accountability law. Now look at that. The result of community pressure. Not because they needed to do that because that was the right thing to do, but because the community pressured them. Notice the common theme. Whenever something happens and it involves these pigs in blue, especially against Black people, it's always the community that has to put pressure on them in order for them to make the right decision. But if it was flipped around, there would be no community pressure, like, say, from PC, because they're going to act on it regardless. Think about what happened in Louisiana with the father and that boy on that high-speed chase. There was no community pressure to lock those two cops up. They did that immediately before their community probably even knew what the hell was going on. But with us, we got to put pressure on them to even go in the slightest in the right direction. The law also eliminated liability protections for police officers and enacted stricter body camera regulations and limit law enforcement's use of deadly force. Justice is moving forward because the people of Colorado elevated Elijah's story to the entire world and demanded change, and because of McClain's tireless fight for reforms and for Colorado's first in the nation police accountability law. Elijah McClain's mother says she had her first peaceful sleep in a long time after learning about the indictments. Shanine McClain is pleased the officers will lose their jobs and could go to prison, but importantly that her son's death did not be forgotten. I'm definitely satisfied because my goal as Elijah's mom was to make sure the world knew what happened to him and somehow hold Colorado accountable for the people that they employ. She said, our humanity matters. That's one thing Elijah believed in. Well, like I said, don't get too excited because they can always go against it and go back and renege and drop those charges. They can do that. These, like I said, these are just indictments right here. We need to see, if this is going to go to trial. At one point we wanted a conviction, but now we want a sentencing. So basically, don't get excited until the very end, is what we're saying. Then you can display whatever level of excitement, if there's any, based on those consequences, because then that will be the true nail in the coffin. But we'll stay on top of this though. And speaking of stories that I'm staying on top of, I've been constantly Googling Kawan Charles every single day, and there still has not been any update on that case since the last time I talked about it, which was like in May. So don't think that I forgot about the Kawan Bobby Charles case. That case is still open, but there hasn't really been any kind of update on it since they got Janet Irvin in prison back in May or April or whatever month that was. So let me move on to the next story. Now, this is a story right here that I've been staying on top of, involving that Black girl whose name is Molly. and that video of her in the Costco. Well, the update on this one is about the Angelica Mendez, who was this woman right here, who was the one that was recording the video. And the recent update that came out, and this was posted on August 30th, which was just a few days ago, it says that she was arrested. It says, woman who sparked social media firestorm for child abuse allegations arrested. A Desert Hot Springs woman is out on bail Sunday after being arrested for filing a false police report. Now, when people are looking at this, now some people are trying to say, look at this with a side eye. Some people are saying, okay, is this girl really in danger? Or did this woman make this whole thing up to try to get, I don't know, some attention? But what do y'all think? I'm gonna keep reading, but I want y'all to tell me what y'all think. Do you think that this is a legit story, or this woman was only doing this for attention? Because some people are now questioning it based on what just happened with her. But one thing I also want to mention is that when people tried to go to this woman's Facebook page, recently her Facebook page was gone. Like they deleted her Facebook account. On Friday, August 20th, the Palm Desert Riverside County Sheriff's Station responded to a report of a young girl who was a victim of child neglect and sexual assault at the Palm Desert Costco. Unsatisfied with the alleged result in the Riverside County Sheriff's Department handling of the investigation, Angelica Mendez, age 23 of Desert Hot Springs, posted the same claims to a social media account. The post went viral on several social media platforms and caused significant outrage and sparked numerous calls to the RSO Dispatch Center, city and county officials. According to investigators, the allegations of neglect and abuse led to hundreds of staff hours from several law enforcement agencies in both California and Arizona. These investigations included 4 independent investigations, which were fully staffed and tracking accordingly. There were 4 independent investigations related to this incident. All 4 of the independent investigations concluded that the allegations were false. It appears the reporting person had seemingly made up the allegations and had no supporting evidence to substantiate her claims. Her claims, both to law enforcement and publicly, had numerous inconsistencies. Deputies say the calls hindered offering emergency services for other citizens who were in need. The sheriff's department would also like to explain that if this was a legitimate criminal incident, the frivolous aspects and misinformation would have hindered the investigation and ultimately the welfare of the child, not to mention the adverse effect of any future prosecution efforts. The sheriff's department also wanted to remind the public that not everything posted and reported on social media is true and can be misleading. The Riverside County District Attorney Office found it to have probable cause that a crime had been committed by Mendez and issued an arrest warrant Friday. Mendez was arrested Saturday, August 28th, for providing false information to a police officer and knowingly filing a false police report. She posted a $25 bail and was released hours after her arrest. Her next court date is scheduled for December 1st, 2021. Let's see, I don't know, hopefully I'm saying your name correctly. Is the Trines or the Trines? But I'm gonna say the Trines. You said, did they actually talk to the adopted black girl though? No. And see, the thing is, they don't have to talk to her because technically she's still a minor, and the people she's with would have to give the reporters permission to have her talk to them, or the investigators to talk to them, excuse me. I hope that this woman wasn't lying. I want to hope that she wasn't, because um like I said, we remember what happened with the Hart family. And that's why a lot of people, including myself, like literally jumped at this, because that story came back to mind for us. And we all know how hard that hit for everybody who remembers it. But now they see now if they but if she is indeed telling the truth though, yeah, they trying to keep her quiet. So we're gonna have to keep our eye on this one. But let's move on to the next story. So I wanted to talk about this story right here. And this is more now this is going to be more the entertainment section of the commentaries. Well, one of them. And that's involving the actress Latisha Wright, who we all know plays Shuri on Black Panther or in Black Panther. And they're currently right now filming the movie in Atlanta. I've actually seen a couple of the set photos and it looks very interesting what they have so far. And the movie does come out next year. But recently she was injured on set and she had to be hospitalized. My guess is she was probably doing a stunt and she got injured and that's why she had to be hospitalized. But I don't think they said that she had a major injury, but she's definitely an asset to the film because she is a primary character. And I said this, if there's a stunt that you feel that you cannot do as an actor or an actress, that's why they hire stunt men and stunt women. But let's go ahead and read this. Letitia Wright was injured during an overnight shoot for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. She got in an incident with a stunt rig while filming a scene in Boston. A spokesperson for Marvel told Deadline that she was hospitalized with minor injuries and is currently receiving care in a local hospital, yet no need to worry, she's expected to be released soon. For Letitia fans out there who's anticipating the actress to appear in the film, no need to worry since her injury will allegedly not affect the shooting plan for the impending spinoff of Black Panther, in which the actress reprising her role as Shuri, the genius inventor and younger sister of T'Challa, played by the late Chadwick Boseman. Last year, Letitia conceded to Net a Porter that it is hard to film the continuation following Boseman's demise. The thought of doing it without him is kind of strange. We're just grieving at the moment, so it's trying to find the light in the midst of it. Production on Black Panther Wakanda Forever, directed by Ryan Coogler, began June 21st, June 2021. Let's see. Plot and cast details are being kept under wraps, but it's expected that the main cast members will join the sequel. She happens to also appear in Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. So they're not saying like what kind of injury she had. They're just saying what it most likely came from. So they don't want to get people too riled up with this news. But I did see one picture of her where she was on a bike and the bike was on top of a it almost looked like a truck. Excuse me, like a truck or a tank of some sort. I can't really call what it was, but it's not like it was moving, it was just planted there. So apparently she is doing some kind of a stunt for this movie. And it seems like she's probably doing a little bit more in this movie than she did the last one. But I hope that she gets better because this article actually I don't know why they didn't put the date on the article, but this article had to have come out over a week ago because that's around the time when I found out about it. But yeah, like if there's a stunt that has to be done and you know that you are a main character, leave it to the stunt people. I mean, I understand actors like to want to do their own stunts sometimes, but if you know you cannot handle it or it's too much for you to do, the stunt people, that's what they're paid to do. It's not going to affect the performance at all. Because a lot of y'all don't know, but when Chadwick Boseman was playing T'Challa, when he was in the suit, the only time he was really like he was there in the scenes was when, of course, when he had the helmet off, when you could see his face, and when he was walking with the helmet on. But when there were fighting sequences that was done, he wasn't under the suit. It was a stuntman. He had a whole stuntman that was doing his stunts for him. So definitely, definitely, if you have a stunt performer, let the stunt person do your stunts for you. So let me move on to the next story. And this one's coming out of Wally World. And I think Lisa talked about this on her channel about the two black men that went to Wally World and got accused of stealing a TV that they were trying to return. Imagine you go into a store to return something that you don't need, or maybe whatever the case may be, you're just returning it. And you have your receipt. And you get accosted by two cops who think you're stealing. First off, how the hell are you going to try to steal a TV out of a store like that? Do you see how big them TVs are? How is that even possible? This was posted on August 27th, 2021. Two black men in their 50s are suing Walmart, alleging that the retailer falsely accused them of stealing when they tried to return a TV. The plaintiffs, Dennis Stewart, a former police officer, and Terrence Richardson, a pastor, were handcuffed by the police at a Walmart in the Houston suburb of Conroe, Texas, after trying to return a $300 TV last September, the lawsuit said. So this wasn't even this year. This happened about a year ago. It says Stewart bought the TV earlier in the day but said it wasn't properly working and wanted to return it. The two men said that they went to return the TV. A white employee at the customer service counter accused them of stealing it and refused to acknowledge their receipt as a proof of purchase. They need to fire that employee. They need to fire that employee. Because you went against your job when they trying to show you a receipt and you didn't even acknowledge it and just quickly said, oh, they're stealing. I wonder if it was some Karen ass bitch that did that. They said the associate called the police. The lawsuit said the police arrived, handcuffed them, and took them to the loss prevention office, where Stewart was said to have broken down in tears. I would not have cried in front of them. The lawsuit was filed Thursday in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Texas. Courthouse News was the first to report it. Insider contacted Walmart for comment, but not immediately hear back. Well, I hope they can get as much coin as they possibly can get out of the Walton family. The police later released Stewart and Richardson, but the lawsuit said the store manager asked the pair to sign a paper confirming they would be arrested if they return to the store. Listen to that. They said they had to sign a paper saying that they could not come back to the store and they would be arrested if they returned. That was from the store manager. The men say a Walmart associate shouted at them, "Take this effing receipt, take that effing TV, get the F out of this store, and never effing come back." That's what the guy said that the store worker said to them before accusing them of stealing. And they let the employees still continue to work there. The suit said the two men were regularly tormented and awakened from their sleep with nightmares about what they experienced at the Walmart. Such treatment hurt so deeply it is impossible to describe, it said. It is like a cancer that eats at them every moment of the day, causing them to try to avoid people they think might be inclined to act the same way toward them. Stewart and Richardson are accusing Walmart of racial discrimination, false arrest, and imprisonment, and breach of contract. The suit said they were dehumanized and made to look like criminals when they were just following Walmart's return policy. This isn't the first time Walmart has faced a racial discrimination lawsuit. In 2018, a black customer sued the company, alleging that it was intentionally locking up inexpensive beauty products made for black people. I think I remember that. Retailers often put higher priced products in glass cases to protect them from theft. At the time, Walmart told Insider it did not tolerate discrimination of any kind. It later said it would stop putting the products behind glass cases. Read the original article on business. I don't have to read that. But there you go. So this all kicked off because of a Karen ass bitch working in customer service. So that's where it all kicked off. And they tried to show the bitch the receipt, but she just yelled at them and told them to get the F out. She threw out 3 F-bombs, loud as hell. See, that's why that would have been a good moment right there. I would have recorded that just so I could have the document. And notice they don't mention anything about what happened with the worker. Exactly, Fulton. Why would you return something that you allegedly stole? And you have a receipt. You can't say something was stolen if you have a receipt and everything lines up. The day you bought it, where you bought it from, what the product is, what payment method did you use? All of that was there. So, like I said, a Karen ass bitch is what led to these two men getting arrested and accused of stealing. That's why a lot of the times I do online shopping. That way I don't have to deal with nobody. The only thing is like if I have to deal with something is if the package comes damaged. Like I remember telling y'all that one time when I had got my first bean pie a few months ago, and I ordered it and it came through UPS, and I got it and the pie was completely destroyed, like it was leaned all to one side. So what did I do? Is I sent a picture to the owner of the company that I ordered my pies from. I basically acknowledged that it wasn't his fault. It was through delivery. Sent him the picture of what it looked like. He said, okay, what we can do to fix this is I can send you a new one for free. And I recommended that you send me the new one through a different delivery service. And he obliged and he did it. He sent my new pie through FedEx. And I got it that following week. And it was intact. But hopefully they can get whatever kind of payday they can get out of Walmart because they definitely owe them, like for sure, definitely for sure. They owe something, but they more importantly they need to get rid of whoever that was that did this. And my thing is, I bet you they're gonna wait until see what's gonna happen with this before they actually make a move. Like if they're successful with this, then that's probably when they're gonna make a move to fire the person who was involved uh uh with this from the get go. Next, moving on to the next story, and that's Michael Byrd. How many in here know who Michael Byrd is? How many people in here have heard of Michael Byrd? Now, I have to give a shout out to Harvey on his channel because he did a very good, well put together video about this story right here. And if it wasn't for him doing that story, I would not know where to point the finger of blame at when it came to the identity of Michael Byrd. So I know many of you are subscribed to Harvey, and if you're not, please do so because he does very good videos. His channel is called Your World on YouTube, in case y'all didn't know. Basically, we knew months ago, back in January, well, we didn't know at the time, that there were some casualties from the people that was who went and decided to invade the Capitol on January 6th. One of them was Ashley Babbitt, who, if you see on your screen, she's this woman right here. And she was shot and killed because she was trying to get in. And it was a whole bunch of noise and everything. People was mad and whatnot. The only thing that we knew about who shot her was that it was a Capitol Hill cop. That's all they told us. They just said it was a Capitol Hill cop. They didn't specify if it was a man or a woman. They didn't say what their ethnicity was. They did not say how long they've been working there. You know, they left it pretty open. They just said Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed by a Capitol police officer, and that was it. And they kept that under wraps, like they kept that hidden for a reason. Now, fast forward to present day, and now that we know who did it, we can see why they kept his identity hidden. Because it was a black man by the name of Michael Byrd that killed Ashley Babbitt. Now, it was bad enough that this person was already getting threats, but see, the thing is, they did not know which direction to deliver the threats because they didn't know who it was. But the minute that they found out that Michael Byrd was a black man, that's when all hell broke loose. And thanks to Harvey on his channel, because he's one of the first and only people I saw do this, we know the identity of the person who spilled the beans about the identity of Michael Byrd. And it's some Indian guy, I forgot his name. Maybe one of y'all can put it down in the chat. But based on how Harvey was explaining who this guy was, he is a guy that does not like black people. So looking at that, I said, okay, now it's not of such a surprise. I think he said his name is Souza or D'Souza. I forgot. So you can blame that D'Souza or who, whatever his name is, him. You can blame him. Thank you, Crystal. She said Dinesh D'Souza. That is his name. Dinesh D'Souza is the one who spilled the beans on who Michael Byrd is. And when they found that out, they sent this man all kinds of threats. And now you see why they want to keep his identity hidden. Because they already knew what would happen if they put it out there. And that Dinesh D'Souza put it out there that Michael Byrd, was the one that shot and killed Ashley Babbitt. And you already know that they were already pissed off that they killed a white woman. Now to find out that it was a black man that did it, that made them even more mad. Noam King said, "Who's Harvey?" Harvey, he used to have his old channel used to be called Mr. Superboy 223, but then he got a new channel and he calls it Your World. I think the one LBZ did a video about this recently as well. But yeah, that's how we found out who Michael Byrd is. Otherwise, it would still be a mystery. And it got to the point where, like, if we didn't know who he was at this point, we didn't care. It's just that Ashley Babbitt is dead. And she was the one that went all the way there. And they, like I said, they tried to make a martyr out of her. They really tried to make a martyr out of Ashley Babbitt. Like she was doing something so noble. Jay Barrett said, "What happened to Back to Blue?" I know you're asking with sarcasm, but I'm just going to answer with more sarcasm. Good question. Where is Back to Blue? Were they on a lunch break? And I can't help but think that Michael Byrd looks like Martin Luther King. Like I know I'm not the only one that thinks that. Michael Byrd does look like Dr. King to me, especially in these images. He looks just like Dr. King. Yeah, they tried to make it seem like she was doing a noble thing, like she was doing a great thing. How? How did you trying to run up into to the Capitol building? How is that a noble thing? Because you didn't get your way. I don't feel not a damn thing for any of the people that ran up in that building that day. Not one. But in our eyes, Michael Byrd is the one that did a noble thing. He did a heroic thing. He had to not only defend himself, but he knew he had to defend his constituents at the same time. That's her own fault that she got popped that day. And wasn't her husband trying to sue the Capitol or something like that? Because I know I did a video about it. Wasn't her husband trying to sue the Capitol or sue somebody involved with this? Now he's going to know where to direct his little lawsuit. But I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't going to go far. It's not going to go far. Vulcan said, back the blue only applies to white people. Correct. Hollywood said he shot a domestic terrorist just doing his job. Correct. Noam King said Michael Byrd is a gangster. Salute to him for ending a terrorist. Correct again. And notice, I think only a couple or a small handful got that title of domestic terrorist, but I'm not surprised if none of them did. And they should have gotten that title because that, in my opinion, was domestic terrorism. Not like y'all were literally making terroristic threats on a federal building, in the main federal building at that. Senior 34 says Babbitt said that they're not going to stop us or something like that. I guess Officer Byrd made her a liar. I guess he did. And he gave her a warning. It's not like he didn't give her a warning and tell her, like, look back up or I'm going to pop your ass. She said, oh, you nigger ain't going to shoot me. Okay, pop. Now I'm just embellishing. She probably didn't. Well, she could have said that. I don't know. I don't know. It was a lot of stuff being said that day. And she met the end of his bullet. But anyway, shout out to Michael Byrd for doing such a heroic thing. They need to give this man a medal and a raise, as far as I'm concerned, and some vacation time. At this point, if I was Michael Byrd and they asked me what did I want, I'm coming out with a laundry list of stuff. And of course, tangibles and reparations is going to be there on there. I know they probably going to look at me like, is there anything else that you want? Because I don't know who's going to give you that. You already know they're going to come with the bullshit. Let's move on to the next story. Now we're going to move into the more light comedy portion of this, and we're going to start with this story right here. I don't know if any of y'all heard about this story right here, but apparently neither did ESPN, but they were the ones that got duped. So basically what happened is there was this fake high school called Bishop Sycamore that literally ran some plays, and it got the attention of ESPN, and they was like literally running videos about this so-called school on their channel as if this was a real school. The people at ESPN have to be so embarrassed by this. When I read this, I laughed so hard. I could not contain myself. This is epic trolling right here. So this is coming from The Guardian. It says, was ESPN scammed by a fake high school? The real scandal goes much deeper. Back when I was a speedy but numb-footed backup striker on the St. Ignatius varsity team, media exposure meant the Chicago Tribune basically printing our score in their sports pages. Major ink for a striving school team in the late 90s. It wasn't until I left the big city for the hinterlands of Missouri that I got hip to the far loftier pretensions of high school sports across the much of rest of America. The first time I was dispatched to cover a high school basketball game with a request from my University of Missouri sports editor to interview the top scorer, it took everything in me to hold back from replying. About what? His favorite color, Gatorade? As a naive reporter, I marveled at how the newsroom fax machine was often jammed with results, not from the NFL or the NBA, but high schools. It was much the same when I joined Sports Illustrated and saw the reams of submissions to Faces in the Crowd, a section dedicated to the achievements of everyday sports people, the bulk of them under 18. And with every magazine story, Netflix doc, or prospect guide that describes a high school athlete like a luxury commodity rather than a teenager, it seems the line separating the amateurs from the pros goes from barely noticed to completely missed. The inevitable endpoint was the debacle that unspooled last Sunday on ESPN inside the same Canton, Ohio stadium, where the Dallas Cowboys and Pittsburgh Steelers kicked off the NFL preseason weeks earlier. On one side was IMG Academy, a Florida boarding school famous for churning out top athletes. On the other was Bishop Sycamore, a 3-year-old online high school with a sense of irony no one saw coming. They marched into this battle with a menacing ancient Greco-Roman style helmet logo, only to go down as the ultimate Trojan horse. Moments after IMG scored on their first drive, ESPN play-by-play man Anish Shroff somewhat jokingly introduced Bishop Sycamore as a bit of a mystery. After another IMG touchdown, a Bishop Sycamore lineman was writhing on the ground in obvious pain. He wore the number 54. We did not have a 54 on the roster we were given, Shroff said. Finally, midway through the second quarter, after a bungled Bishop Sycamore possession set up IMG to extend a 30-0 lead, Shroff turned fretful. From what we've seen so far, this is not a fair fight, he said, and there's got to be a point where do you worry about health and safety. After IMG went on to win 58-0, the sleuthing effort to solve the mystery of Bishop Sycamore spilled into overtime. Shroff couldn't stop dropping clues during the telecast, disclosing that the school wasn't a member of the Ohio School Athletic Association and that its claim to include multiple top college prospects couldn't be verified. Between that, the on-field slaughter, and the sight of some players sharing, mismatched helmets, you had to wonder if Bishop Sycamore was for real, as in an actual school. Indeed, the Ohio High School Athletic Association was damning, saying the school's physical location, practice facilities, and roster eligibility could not be verified. Examining the question further means spiraling down a deep rabbit hole of dummy web pages, dubious accreditation claims, and demonstrable cash flow problems, not least one involving Bishop Sycamore allegedly writing invalid checks for their $3,596 Canton hotel bill. And it was hard not to assume the worst when the school submitted a post office box in the library at Franklin University as physical addresses. Are y'all hearing this? Are y'all hearing this right now? The Columbus Dispatch reported another address for the school was actually a training facility where football practices were held, but no academic classes. Just as suspicious, the name of some kids from Bishop Sycamore, which says is based in Ohio, also appears on rosters for schools as far away as as Maryland and California. Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. Wow, I know. Listen, that's why I said I know ESPN got to be embarrassed by that. They have to be. Former players and parents have come forward with harrowing allegations about their experiences with Bishop Sycamore. Talented players were reportedly lured to play for the school by the bogus prospect of a Netflix documentary, only to discover that there were no buildings or lessons, let alone a TV show. In addition, some of the Bishop Sycamore's players are as old as 20 and have played games in junior college. Certainly, that gives new meaning to cell phone video taken inside the Centurion's locker room just before kickoff. In it, an assistant can be viewed urging players not to step on the field if you're not ready to kill. Never mind that this was their second game in 3 days. The Scooby-Doo villain in all of this is Roy Johnson, the coach who was the subject of a federal fraud investigation in at least 3 lawsuits, who has a warrant for failing to appear in a domestic violence case, and who, according to some former players, sources all his plays from the Madden. I'm about to leave. Hear this. He sources all of his plays from the Madden video game series. if y'all can see the look on my face just reading that. This guy got all of his plays from Madden. Did y'all hear that? Wow. That is crazy. On Sunday, he was offered chances in the first quarter to abandon the game or speed up the clock and refused both. Johnson was fired this week by Andre Peterson, the Bishop Sycamore founder, who also coaches the football team's offensive and defensive lines. I did say the rabbit hole was deep. Peterson denies he is running a scam and says his son attends the school. If it's a scam and the kids are not going to school and not doing what they're supposed to do, then I'm literally scamming myself. Peterson told the Columbus Dispatch, and most importantly, I'm hurting my own son. Paragon, the marketing group that arranged the Bishop Sycamore date for ESPN, has admitted its share of blame. As for ESPN, its production team sounded the alarm after basic information about the school couldn't be fact-checked and took those concerns to those higher up in command chain. But the game went ahead anyway and proved to be every bit as one-sided as feared. Ohio's Governor Mike DeWine has called on the state education department to investigate Bishop Sycamore and said it was not clear whether Bishop Sycamore met basic education requirements. Unsurprisingly, a number of the alleged high school's opponents had pulled out of the scheduled game since Sunday's farce, which ESPN color analyst Tom Luginbill announced as a total scam. And convenient as it is to clown Bishop Sycamore as a motley crew of glory-chasing has-beens who got waxed by a bunch of teens, spares some derision for the so-called victims of this con. IMG, one of the most powerful sports and entertainment agencies in the world, runs a high school football program that barstorms across the country, betting 1% odds of producing a Sunday pro. Their coach is Pepper Johnson, a two-time Super Bowl winning linebacker who won 3 more titles apprenticing under Bill Belichick. You figured Johnson at least would be able to read the room and take it easy on these Columbus pretenders, but he had no problem running up the score and calling a timeout to prolong the game, which was a big payday and potential PR grab for IMG. As for their opponent, who made no secret of their almost certainly doomed desire to become the IMG of the Midwest. And ESPN still treated the game as an outside ceremony, cutting from shots of the Pro Football Hall of Fame to promos of the blockbuster matchups forthcoming on its college football slate. Schroff and Luginbill, for all their on-air shock, still went right ahead touting one impressive IMG rusher as the next Ezekiel Elliott. As if that didn't seem impossible expectations for a teenager. It wasn't too long ago that ESPN was the one getting to the bottom of the Manti Te'o's catfishing scandal. I remember that because that name sounds so familiar. Now it's the one getting duped. Such is the cost of making a big business out of high school sports, which only figures to grow once college student athletes really start getting paid. The stakes will be higher, the scrutiny will be more intense. All the while, more players figured to be squeezed and discarded for content, not unlike that unnamed linebacker in the number 54 jersey. Yes, Bishop Sycamore was exposed, but the real scam, the professionalization of high school sports, thrives unchecked. Where is the deep dive into that? And that's pretty much the whole article. That was crazy. JK said it sounds like a movie. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they did turn this into a movie. I think I was reading some comments on a post somewhere where they were saying that this could have been turned into a movie. Now, what I'm about to do right quick, while y'all are still discussing that, is I'm going to pull up this audio. Unfortunately, it's only audio because when I tried to pull up the video would not come up. So I have to actually play the video, and y'all just have to listen to it. But what I'm about to have y'all hear is this is coming from a TikTok video. Hold on. And it's on Omegle. And basically Omegle is like a little chat thing that people can talk to strangers. It's almost like, and it's like brief, it's timed, so like a FaceTime, but it's not. Some of you may have heard of, I think it's another one called Monkey App or something like that pretty much does the same thing. But basically what you're about to hear is a conversation between this PC man and this black woman. Now, what I want y'all to do is I really want y'all to hear, because like I said, I can't pull it up on the screen because for some reason, whoever posted it, when I tried to open up their page so y'all could see it on your screen, it just said that it was removed. I kept trying to send it to myself, but all attempts failed and it didn't work. So I'm going to play this audio that's like a minute long, and I want y'all to listen to the discussion that these two are having.
White man? No. You don't want a strong white man? No, I have a strong black man. Well, hey, sister, listen to me. There is no future with black men. White men created the world. And I hope you are on stream right now. And I hope a bunch of little white princesses see me and hear me. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You won't even look up at me like a little fucking bitch. You won't even look up at me, baby. Come on. I mean, you're playing a Nintendo portable. Come on. How old are you? You just showed your age by calling it a Nintendo portable. I'm dead.
Okay, so I really wish y'all could have saw that exchange, like actually see it the way that I'm seeing it right now. So basically, what happened was you have this white guy on there who looks like a young ass Ron Jeremy. So if y'all could see how Ron Jeremy looks, then he looks like a young version of him. He got the hair. He has that mustache with no facial hair. He's sitting in his house. He has his shirt off and he's talking to this black woman who's sitting there completely ignoring everything that he's saying. And she's playing on her, I guess it looks like her phone. Like she looks like she's playing a game on her phone, completely ignoring what he's talking about. And he was saying that, he was trying to convince her that being with a white man is better than being with a black man. And mind you, when she's talking to him, she said, she said, you need to be with a strong white man. She says, sorry, I'm already with a strong black man. And then that's when he goes into his tirade that white men are running the world, white men are the better option and all types of stuff like that. And you can tell he was getting in his feelings when she was constantly ignoring him when he was talking because he ended up calling her a bitch. And then that's when she just kind of chuckled. Like that's the first response that he really got out of her when he called her a bitch. But it wasn't like she was cussing him out saying, "Oh, you call me a bitch, you this, you that." And then he said, "You sitting there playing your Nintendo, your portable." She says, "You really showed your age if you thought this was a PlayStation portable." And after he said that, he just kind of had this look of his whole demeanor change. Like he felt defeated in that moment right there. But I'll play it again so y'all can hear it. I just really wish y'all could actually see it.
You don't want a strong white man? No, I have a strong black man. Well, hey, sister, listen to me. There is no future with black men. White men created the world. And I hope you are on stream right now. And I hope a bunch of little white princesses see me and hear me. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You won't even look up at me like a little fucking bitch. You won't even look up at me, baby. Come on. I mean, you're playing a Nintendo portable. Come on. How old are you? You just showed your age by calling it a Nintendo portable. I'm dead.
So I hope y'all was able to hear it again. Like he was really feeling himself until she said that. And then his whole, like I said, his whole demeanor changed. I really wish that y'all could actually see it. As a matter of fact, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. Because let me see something here. Because I really, really want y'all to see this. So I'm turning the cam on so y'all get to see me briefly while I show this. I'm going to put it up to the screen so y'all can see his expression. So this is the video right here that I'm talking about. For those who can't see it, this is the video.
You don't want a strong white man?
No, I have a strong black man.
Well, hey, sister, listen to me. There is no future with black men. White men created the world. And I hope you are on stream right now. And I hope a bunch of little white princesses see me and hear me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. You won't even look up at me like a little fucking bitch. You won't even look up at me, baby. Come on. I mean, you're playing a Nintendo portable. Come on. Are you? How old are you?
You just showed your age by calling it a Nintendo portable. I'm dead.
You don't want a strong white man.
And that's the whole video right there. So now y'all were able to see the actual exchange. Not the way I really wanted y'all to see it, but y'all was able to see it. Exactly, Jennifer, he has a porn stash. Yes, J.R. Jackson, that was him. I was about to say he looks like a damn hick. JR said he looked like he wants to cry. He probably does. Like, you saw how his face completely changed, right? His whole demeanor switched up when she said that. Crushed his whole existence. He probably thought he was about to have a white boy summer, and she had to set her straight. He probably felt some type of way when he says you need a strong white man. She says, "Sorry, I already have a strong black man." That was the first dig right there. But he thought that was a joke by her even saying that. So he took it as a joke when she said she had a strong black man, because he feels black men are beneath him. That's basically the core of the video. He felt black men were beneath him. He's probably used to a lot of women throwing themselves at him, and he thought he was going to get the same thing out of her. But she stopped him dead in his tracks and was like, "Look, not every woman wants you." And she did all of that without once looking at the screen. Now I have one more story that I have to share with y'all. Now this one's real funny. Like I told you, the last couple of stories was going to be hilarious. So let me share my screen one last time, and y'all can see this right here. Hold on. Let me refresh the page. Oh shoot, I didn't even share the audio. This one right here. Really pay attention to listen to what y'all about to hear. It says some kids pranked a school board meeting on some Bart Simpson shit, and I am crying. And this was on August 26, 2021. So that was last week. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get this audio to play. I don't know why the audio is not playing. Hold on. Okay, I got it. I'm gonna play it back just in case y'all didn't catch it. Y'all can't hear it? Oh, hold on, my bad. I don't know why the audio was not playing. Hold on, y'all. I don't know what was. Can y'all hear me now? Put a one in the chat if you can hear me right now. Okay. I don't know what was going on. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this again.
You guys work for us in this environment. You guys work for us in this environment. You answer to us, and I'm asking that you do not pass this policy in Virginia.
Thank you so much, Ms. Thomas. We'll do it.
I'm gonna pause the video right quick because some of y'all are not catching it. It's not about what she's saying. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna pause and go as we go along because I don't think any of y'all are catching it. I'm gonna pause and go, and then because that's because I paused it, Jennifer. When I pause it, I'm explaining to you what's being said and why it's so funny. All right, I'm gonna pause it right here. Pay attention to the names that he's about to announce. Pay attention to the names that he's about to announce. Phil McCracken. Feel my Kraken. But the person put it down as Phil McCracken. Mind you, these are the kids that are doing this. This is a prank that these kids. Basically, what happened was the kids put some names on a list, and they made it sound like a real name. But when you actually say the name, it says something else. This person put down the name Suk Medik, but they're saying suck my dick. Like I said, these are kids that wrote these names down. These are not real people. So they put down the name Suk Medik, but it's really suck. It really what they're really implying is suck my dick. Thank you, Smoke Yankee Buffalo Soldiers. What you just said is exactly what this is. Ophelia my cock. I feel it in my cock. I feel my cock. What makes it so funny is the guy saying that he's being so serious right now, and he doesn't understand what's going on. I leaned over. I leaned over. I leaned over. Wayne Kerr, wanker. And this is a real board meeting, y'all. This is not a setup that these adults are just sitting here and he's reading these names off just to be funny. Some kids, I don't know how they did it, got these names on there somehow, some way, and he read them off. But I said the funniest part is the fact that he's reading them with a straight face. Like he's not even laughing. I would probably be in the room right now. They would have to remove me. Okay, Noam King, you said play it back so we can hear the names. Okay, I just wanted to explain it because some people didn't understand what was going on, so I had to explain it. So now I'm gonna play it all the way through with no interruption. Damn it. Okay, hold on. I hate when it does that. Hold on, y'all. Let me refresh the page because sometimes the audio goes out. I don't know why it does that. So let me refresh the page again so y'all can hear it. Can y'all hear it now? All right, hold on. Because I think it's a connection issue for some reason. So I'm gonna do it one more time.
You guys work for us in this environment. You answer to us, and I'm asking that you do not pass this policy in Virginia.
Thank you so much, Ms. Thomas. We do appreciate you. Phil McCracken. Phil McCracken. Suk Mahidik. Suk Mahidik. Ophelia McHawk. Ophelia McHawk. Eileen Dover. Eileen Dover. Wayne Kerr. Wayne Kerr.
And that's the whole video right there. So we got through it this time. I just had to refresh the page. But yeah, them kids is a trip. Kids are funny. Kids are hilarious. When I first heard that, I was done. I was done with that. I don't know how they did it. But that was hilarious. This was about as funny as when the kids hacked the TikTok and was trying to sell people to go. They basically got all these false passes to go to Trump's rally last year, around back in June of last year, and it turned out to be a prank, and hardly nobody showed up. It kind of reminds me of that, but that was funny. But like I said, the funniest part about the whole thing is the fact that he was able to recite those names with a straight face like it was nothing. That's what made the whole thing hilarious to me, because I would have been in there dying, and I wonder if he figured out that this was a prank, but he had to read the names because he was like at the head of the board, so he had to read the names. But yeah, that was I wanted to end the video off on that note. Like I said, I wanted to end it off on a pretty light, laughing type of note right there, considering all the serious tone videos that I bring to y'all. But that's going to be the end of this stream. I'm glad that everybody was able to come through. Shout out to everybody who commented. Shout out to anybody who's new, who subscribed. We'll be back on here tomorrow with 3 videos a day, 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, if you have not done so already, make sure y'all text that number that is scrolling right down there at the bottom of the screen so you can be added to the community tab whenever I upload a new video. And the little battery running low came up on my laptop, so I already know what that means. It's time for me to charge this thing up, so we are on good time. But with that being said, I'm going to head out, and I will talk to you all later.